They're coming. These blight things are coming. Get the door shut and barred. Hells, it must be more than 20 of them. And we can't let ourselves be discovered just yet. I, for one, am not particularly interested in fighting off walking twigs. I wonder what kind of tribe these wild men of yesteryear are supposed to be. Some sort of shamans, it seems, befriending these strange bush creatures. Different, in some regards, to my own clan. I wonder what code they have and if they're honourable in battle. It would be good to test my mettle against theirs. Time to dance the dance of death. This is Red Moon role-playing.
You catch your breath as you enter the storage area. You take a moment to assess the situation, Roshek. Behind you, Adrian and 2 of his companions are barring the door to the outside. You can hear the sounds of these blight creatures skittering, chittering at the door, trying to come in. However, the noise they make isn't especially loud, you notice. It's not like they have voices and are screaming out. It's more like the sound of insects or the rustling of a dead bush. Perhaps, at this moment in time, an alert hasn't gone throughout the vineyard yet. But you find yourself wondering how much longer will that be.
I'm not sure if they actually saw us, if they just thought they saw us. We could still keep a fairly low profile, I think. We just need to make pace.
Agreed.
And I'll look around, see what will be the way forwards into the house.
The storage room around you is quite small. It seems to be a place used for coats and spare barrels. Adrian and the other 2 individuals are finishing now barring up the door, but 2 of them stay by it. They can hear the things outside. Adrian comes over to you. Okay, we're in. But I don't know how long the door will hold, or how many are going to come. These creatures, they can swarm. But through this door, he hushes his tone a little as he speaks to you. The main fermentation area lies through this door. You'll see the vats. Above is the way to where we live, and beyond that, the stables, other storage areas. I don't know what you're going to find in there, but perhaps for the moment we still have some element of surprise, but you don't have long. This is going to be heard soon, and again you can just hear very slowly the sound of chittering increasing as perhaps more of these creatures start to investigate the door and try and come in, although it does seem as if they don't know how doors work and are more trying to barge their way in than open the door.
I look between him and Roman and I ask, do you know anything about these things? Do you know if they, flee from something? Are they afraid of something? Or if we defeat someone, do you think they'll, just give up?
Roman, make me a roll.
17.
Your mind races as you try to think of something useful for this situation. What sort of creatures could they be? They appeared to be plant-based. They had some intelligence behind them. You are familiar in terms of dealing with various undead creatures. These aren't undead, but they are unnatural. Blights. Blights. They said the word blights. You are familiar with tales of moving shrubs and entangling vines sometimes in the forests of the world. You recall legends that they came from some unnatural undead evil. You can't quite remember exactly what that was. However, you know that they are made of trees and vines, so fire, you assume, would be naturally a good choice. And you are pretty sure that they don't normally amass in any number unless they're being directly controlled by something. Perhaps some powerful magic. Maybe that could be disrupted.
Yes. There must be a powerful magician among them, I believe. A druid, perhaps, or someone with the power to control the unnatural beings of the forests. These are not undead, but they are not naturally occurring. They're coming from some dark place, and they are being controlled by someone quite powerful. But if we could get at that person, if we could neutralize them, perhaps we could also make these blights disappear or choose to go somewhere else or become passive. Something is clearly making them do what they're doing right now.
I nod at this, a bit thoughtful, and I say, yes, that makes sense. It would absolutely make sense with someone controlling them. I don't see why a group of, vagabonds like this would tag along with some, unnatural creatures of the forest if there weren't some sort of druid or shaman behind it. Yeah, alright, we need to get into the rest of the place and try and find whoever that may be. It might well be the leader of the group.
Yes, let's do that. And, well, they are made of wood, so setting them on fire will definitely work.
Do you have anything like that would do that?
I think I may have just the thing.
I nod, and good. Just don't burn down the vineyard. I start making for the door that leads into the vats.
What's your approach as you move through this door? You can already, just by opening the door, see it opens up to quite a large area with a lot of potential places you could hide. Are you going to try and enter slightly stealthily?
Yeah, I want to try and get through as stealthily as I can. Maybe at least create some sort of ambush if there are some people in there sneaking along the vaults, so at least we can get the first strike. We probably can't go through the whole place, unnoticed anyway.
Make me a stealth roll.
4.
15.
Roman, you enter first. You quickly dart into the room and find yourself behind a barrel. You take a moment to observe your surroundings. The rich smell of fermenting wine fills this large 2-story chamber, which is dominated, you see, by 4 enormous wooden casks, each one 8 feet wide and 12 feet tall. A wooden staircase in the centre of the room climbs to a 10-foot-high wooden balcony that clings to the south wall, which has 4 windows set into it at balcony level. Stacked against the wall underneath the balcony are old empty barrels with the Wizard of Wines burned into their sides. The balcony climbs another 5 feet as it continues along the west and east walls, ending at doors, you assume leading to the winery's upper levels. Underneath these side balconies are several doors, some of which hang open. Beneath the sloping roof, you notice thick rafters, upon which you notice, at this point, a few holes and ravens. A few of them at this point, only a couple, sort of just nestling high above. They seem to be watching you with great interest. You notice a creek, and you look up to the balconies I mentioned hanging over these vats, if you can imagine that. And you see a figure hunched over one of the casks, pouring something into the barrel. She wears a gown made of animal skins and a headdress with goat horns, and her hair is long and unkempt. You notice something else, someone behind her. You can't quite see him clearly from this angle, but you notice a staff. A staff that almost glows. Oh, strange, tendril-like darkness. It's hard to keep an eye on it for too long. You also notice maybe some other people nearby this figure, but again, your advantage point is difficult to notice what's going on. Roshek, you come in directly behind him, and unfortunately, a loud creak utters under your foot as you take up a position. The figures pause. There's some hushed conversation, very difficult to understand. They don't seem to be speaking in a language either of you would know. It's more the sound of beasts, wolves snarling, birds chirping. Imagine a mixture of that. There seems to be a bit of conversation, and you notice one of those figures seems to vanish from view. But the woman starts heading down the stairway and looking around, agitated and curious. What do you do?
I see Roshik close to me, then I gather.
Yeah, I mumble under my breath. And I try to keep down.
Let's wait a bit. Let's wait a bit and see what she does. I think we'll need to neutralize her as well.
I'm still holding my longbow in my hand, and I'm thinking if I should try and take the shot or if I just should wait until she gets closer, though I don't say anything about it.
You also notice Roshek being of a military mind. That of all those doors I mentioned, doors leading to the upper areas, a few side doors, the biggest set of doors is right across from this whole room and seems currently open. You think to yourself, no matter what happens, you might want to watch that part. That's where things from outside, perhaps more of these creatures, could come from. You think, at least.
Right. So maybe it would be best if we could get upstairs soon and not be swarmed down here. I look up at Roman and I point my fingers upstairs, trying to signal with my eyes that we need to go upstairs.
I nod. I'm waiting for your go.
Do we hear the woman? She's coming closer.
Yes, she is starting to slowly approach the area. She is a young woman, in a way, but covered in dirt, blood. Her eyes seem feral. She is slowly getting out a basic dagger as she approaches. Very soon she'll be close, and you notice, looking to your left, Roshik, that she would probably notice the commotion that is now happening at the door because the other three people are still holding against this door as these creatures are trying to get in. What do you do?
I pull my longsword and I charge at her.
You have surprised her. Have a first round for yourself. Roman, you can also act, actually, if you wish.
I start to cast a spell, while Roshik is rushing, if that is okay.
What do you cast?
I wish to cast silence upon the woman in front of us, hoping, of course, that the commotion that is about to happen there will become completely silent as a result of this.
You cast your spell of silence. And suddenly, a strange, for you at least, Roshek, sensation occurs where, as you charge towards this individual, everything becomes silent. Your movements, your, perhaps, cry of battle, her gasp of surprise. Everything has become completely silent in this area around her. Your turn, Roshek.
I drop the longbow on the ground as I do this, and I swing out the longsword and grab it with both hands, and I bring it down on her.
Roll your attack.
16 plus 6, 22.
You hit, roll damage.
6 plus 10.
You charge at this woman, completely clouded in silence. She is surprised as you emerge. She snarls at you, although the snarl comes out as making no sound at all. You cleave your sword directly into her neck, practically decapitating her. She stumbles to the floor, gurgling as her lifeblood gushes out. And now we shall roll initiative.
14.
2.
Very well. Roman, it's your turn again.
I will cast command on her, and I will tell her to drop her weapon. I look at the woman enveloped in this silence. I put my head to the side and I say, "Drop your weapon."
She blinks and drops her weapon. She looks towards you with pure, unadulterated hatred, and then collapses, blood gushing from her wound. She's dead. All is silent for a moment, quite literally. What do you do next?
I swing about and I try to look out for other adversaries up on the upper floor.
You look to where you earlier on noticed other figures and seem to see no one presently. However, you do start to hear from that door directly in front of you, the one I mentioned that is still wide open, the sounds of chittering and scraping. More people are coming, Roshek. What are you going to do?
I hold my sword in one hand and I pick up my longbow from where I dropped it, and then I nod upwards towards Roman and I start making my way up the stairs.
Roshek, you are just standing, you get your weapon ready to face whatever's coming, and Roman, what do you do?
Oh, we need to make our way upward. So I move to follow Roshek to get upstairs.
As you move to the staircase, Roman, you suddenly notice something. Not only is there sound coming from the soon-to-be-filled, you assume, doorway, but one of the barrels. Did it just make a sort of groaning sound? Your attention turns toward it. What do you do?
These are the barrels on the first floor, yes?
Yes, the 4 massive vats. This is one of them. This is the closest one to you now.
Yes, I fully expect that the whatever compound she put into the vat has created some kind of reaction, so best to not linger here, best to get upstairs. So just move as fast as possible.
Well, I suppose I'm halfway up the stairs by now. Okay, I turn to Roman and I mouth, "What was that?"
I have no idea, but she poured something into the vat, yeah? Something is having a reaction. I really don't want to be here when whatever that is comes out of that.
You notice at this point that Adrian has burst into the area, followed by one of his cohorts. He is looking urgently towards those double doors at the very far end. He says to his friend, "Quick, we must secure those doors!"
As they say that, and I shout towards Adrian, "Hey, they poured something into that vat. That one there," and I point towards it.
I shall mention at this point that the rumbling is actually not coming from the vat they poured something into. It's coming from a completely different one. It's the closest to you.
Inside the vat?
Yes.
Well, they must have done the same thing to that one before we came.
Maybe they're growing things in it. Maybe those bushes are growing out of it.
And as you say this, Roshek, you hear a loud, deafening crash, and the barrel spills open, something punching through its side. Wine spills out from it, but not much, perhaps it wasn't that full. And a creature emerges from this barrel. It is larger than the things you have seen outside, stronger. It is not made of wood, but vines, tangled, dense vines, curled up on each other in many foundations, creating some sort of living vine creature. It emerges and turns its head towards you. It doesn't have eyes or a mouth, but it does have the impression of eyes and a mouth in its vine shapes. A gurgling hiss comes from this mouth, and you hear the words, "Blood. Your blood. Your blood." And it begins to come towards you guys on the stairs.
I shout to the people rushing for the door, "Just get the door closed," and I unclasp my shield from my back where it's been sat, and I bring up my shield and my longsword and I make my way towards the creature to attack it.
Excellent. Let's all roll initiative. Adrian does as you say and seems to run to these doors. It looks like they're trying to get some barrels and boxes nearby and barricade the door.
5.
7.
You ready yourself for combat, Roshek. And Roman, you are in combat and probably will be getting yourself ready. But unfortunately, this creature has got a bit of a jump on you and has already begun to lumber forwards. He comes towards you, Roshek, repeating this unsettling mantra. Blood, your blood. He raises one of his limbs. I say arm, but is it an arm? Where does it begin and where does it end? It suddenly extends forwards, vines coming onto your position, Roshek. It's trying to constrict you. And they cover you, suddenly all around you, trying to crush the life out of you. Take 9 damage. And you find yourself suddenly slammed into the wall, surrounded by these vines. You are also grappled, and must roll me a strength check to escape.
And I try to do my usual mirth, but now I am sort of intimidated by this creature and his sudden ability to grasp me like this, but I try to wrestle free. 16.
And you smash the vines out of the way with your shield arm, taking a breath as you suddenly find yourself free once more. You can also attack, as grappling simply reduces your movement, so while you cannot move this turn, you can hack at the vines as you get them off you.
I do this. I try to sever it from him, thinking that it might weaken him to just get more of it away from him.
Roll your attack.
13.
Roll damage.
11.
You slash at those tendrils, hacking with fury. I imagine you were very angry at the prospect of briefly having been held, and the entire limb seems to eventually come off. It takes you a few good swings, but you have totally taken off one of the arms of this creature. It howls in anger and frustration. Roman, what do you do?
I look at this creature, not able to really believe my eyes. And I close my eyes and I whisper a prayer to Lathander. And I open my eyes and I yell, "Dawn burn you!" And I cast Guiding Bolt. I roll 21.
That's a hit.
It does 4d6s of radiant damage. 16.
You barrage this creature with holy fury, bolts appearing in the area of holy light, smashing into it. It howls in pain as it is bombarded, whole entire parts of it suddenly catching fire and coming off. And with a mighty heave, it falls, dead, completely overwhelmed by your holy attack.
I breathe out.
I'm stopped in my tracks from this sudden burst of whatever it was, and I look towards it, and I look towards Roman, and I look back again, and I move up to it, and I want to make sure it's really dead.
It seems now to you to almost be just a bundle of vines. The force behind it gone. It is definitely dead. You turn to observe the impact of the others barricading that door. They're making good progress, but they haven't closed that door just yet, and as you look, you notice now 2, 3 of these smaller little needle lights appearing at the doorway. They are coming, Roshek, they are coming.
Well, maybe I should help them get the door sorted first, so we don't, lose too much people along the way. That will just make it harder to keep this place held up while we try to go for the mage or whatever he is.
Let's go. I also start rushing towards the door to help close it, or at least to help protect them in there, should they need assistance.
Both make me athletics checks.
20.
19 plus 6. Okay. 25.
You both immediately know what to do. Grasping barrels, which there are plenty of, and planks and crates. They are grateful for your assistance. Adrian nods quickly, and in moments you seem to have suddenly slammed this door shut and barricaded this place quite effectively between the four of you. A needle shoots through just as you close that door, but misses you, Roshek, quite easily, spinning past your head as you can hear these creatures now ramming themselves against this door. But you feel this barricade you have made is going to hold for a bit at least. But Roshek, you obviously now would notice barricaded door here, the barricaded door behind you. Both now have the sounds of people smacking them down. These creatures are trying to get in. They will get in soon, but not yet, not yet.
I look at the Adrian and his people and I say, we probably should stay close. We should keep our group together. Come on, let's move upstairs. I think there's more of them up there.
Adrian nods, although he says, yes, I will come with you, but leave my brethren down here to watch these barricades. We will need them to be held. And also, we will have some assistance. Do not worry. He looks up at the ravens. You now notice they have multiplied. Where earlier there seemed to be 4 or 5, there's now 20. Rustling about in the eaves, they've already started coming down, perching themselves on the balconies upstairs and in the barrels. Adrian frowns a little as he looks at one of the giant vats. But you said they put something in. Damn it. If they've poisoned the wine. So much work wasted.
Keep an eye on that one, just so it doesn't burst open with another of these creatures. And I brush off remaining sort of spine that almost got stuck in my skin when he entangled me. And I start making my way towards the stairs. These bloody things fire stuff as well, don't they? Shooting spines and needles.
Yes.
Very well, you begin to make your way up the stairs.
Yeah. I still have my shields and my long sword drawn. I'm gonna leave my bow for now. I think I won't make much use of it, as cramped as this place is.
Excellent. You begin to make your way up the stairways leading to the balconies above the vats. From this vantage point, you can now see one was empty, the one the creature came out of. 2 seem to be full of wine, one of them bubbling in an unpleasant manner, the one you assume has been poisoned. There is nothing here, though, for the moment, except a singular door leading to what Adrian assures you is the living quarters of the vineyard.
Do you think that's where they are holding up?
Would seem logical, yes.
Right, let's take a look.
You start to move towards this door, and just as you're about to reach it, a man emerges. Tall, bold, eyes black with a bestial intent, teeth gritted and sharp. He wields a massive great axe. He looks surprised for a few moments before roaring at you in challenge and being ready to face you in combat. Roll initiative.
20.
19.
Roman, you are not taken too surprised by this. Your attack is ready. What do you do?
I close my eyes and I whisper, Lathander, my mace, and I call forth my spiritual weapon. And with it, I immediately instruct it to attack this bestial man in front of me. The mace appears out of thin air. It's shining just as it did that first time in the woods. And it moves to strike. 7.
Your spiritual mace appears, blinding in its fury, and moves to swing at this individual. It does hit him, but he seems to just grunt and take it full force, not seeming to be affected. This man, there's some sort of bestial rage to him. It's quite intimidating. However, it is now your turn, Roshek, as this man just begins to bellow towards you, it seems.
I shout right back, "Ah!" And I lunge towards him, where I try to intimidate him back. It's a war of shouts, it seems.
Roll your attack.
It's a 10.
And you smash into combat with this individual. However, he parries, full strength behind his great axe as your blade meets his in a sort of sound of violence. He smiles as he comes round to attempt a counterattack. He withdraws for a moment, raises the great axe, swings it directly at your face, Roshek, but your shield instinct kicks in, and his bounces off your shield. You can feel the vibration as he hits you. At this point, you notice the ravens descend upon this individual, ransacking him suddenly, surrounding him in a swarm of fury. Very strange behaviour. Adrian doesn't seem surprised, though. But he seems to be holding them off. He is very distracted, however. But you have been given some assistance, it seems, in this battle, and Adrian darts forward as well to try and get behind this individual. Your turn again, Roman.
Both my physical mace and my spiritual one strikes at the man simultaneously. 17.
Roll damage.
4. And 13.
That's a hit.
10.
You dive forwards as this individual is temporarily distracted by this mass of ravens. The ravens part a little as you come forward, though, almost as if they are aware that you are an ally. You dart forward with your mace, getting a good hit on his side, but it is your spiritual mace that clogs him round the head with righteous fury. He bleeds from his nose, stunned for a moment. Taken aback, you have dealt him some serious damage. Roshek, your turn.
As he gets temporarily distracted, I circle around him, and then I try to attack again. I put my force behind it, try to push him over the railing if possible with the strength of the attack. It's a 20, not natural.
Roll damage.
12. And as I hit, I shove my longsword straight ahead, and I try to put in my shoulder to it to push him over the railing.
Yes, and as you do, your blade goes straight into his side, right through his torso. He blinks a little, blood bellowing from his mouth. He seems to snarl some sort of curse at you, but you can't understand his language. And it doesn't really matter, because as you drove forward with all your strength, he teetered and goes straight over the railing, falling to the ground below. You hear a satisfying snap. He is dead. But your victory feels short-lived, for from the door, a second figure emerges. He takes a moment to take the situation in. He howls in dismay at his comrade, and then charges at you. His initiative is the same as the berserker you just killed, and he attacks you, Roshek. He comes forward, but again you are ready, shield at hand, to repel this individual's attack. The ravens turn their attention upon this individual now as he enters, and they descend upon him with savage fury. You notice one of them go straight for his eyes, plucking one out with ease. He howls in agony and pain as he is descended upon by these ravens, and already is not off to a good start. It is your go again, Roman.
Seeing this, I close my eyes and then, together with my spiritual weapon, strike out at this man, trying to take him down. We move in unison. 13.
That's a hit.
8 damage. The second attack. Natural 20.
You dive forwards, getting a massive smack on this guy's face with your mace, blood flying through the air as you do so. Your spiritual mace follows behind and practically caves in this man's skull. He falls, dead, the ravens parting as you have emerged victorious. You take a breath each, as for the moment, nothing else seems to emerge to attack you. But from down below, you can hear banging at all the doors entering this place. The barricades are holding, but soon they will be overwhelmed. Adrian takes in a sigh of relief and goes forward. Through here! Quick! Good! He must be somewhere through here! And moves on, leading the way.
And I lower my sword and have my shield up at the ready, and I move after him.
I as well.
You both enter this corridor. The corridor that is the upper floor of the vineyard. It's quite narrow up here. Adrian points forwards towards a room you see directly in front of you with a door, and the corridor turns to the right, implying there's maybe a few rooms to the right. These are... the study is up ahead. Perhaps. I think I can see some movement. Are you ready?
I nod.
You begin to move forward to this door, and your suspicions are confirmed as it swings open, and two of these needle blights suddenly emerge from within, coming towards you. You can see them now in their full detail. Not as big and strong as that vine creature, but squat and little, covered in needles and splinters. From behind them, you see a man. He is carrying that staff from before, pulsating with dark energies. He has goat horns on his head, a ragged beard, and a necklace made of human teeth? Unpleasant. He snarls at you, saying something in a language you do not understand, but he's clearly giving you some words. What do?
I'm not eager to let him have too much time to cast a spell or whatever he's doing, so I'm going to charge forwards and get rid of these blights so I can get to him. And I attack the nearest blight.
Roll initiative.
15.
Ooh, natural 20 plus 1. 21.
You charge forward, Roshek, sword at the ready, into these two needle creatures. What do?
I attack the first of them, slash down from the upper right down to the left.
Roll your attack.
13.
Roll damage.
12.
You demolish this creature. Your sword cuts through it. You almost feel like chopping down a tree feels. That sensation of the axe going into wood. It crumples into two, splits. You have killed it.
I'm thinking I quickly need to act here. Just into it, I force myself another attack.
Yes, roll attack.
18.
Roll damage.
And 7.
Your attack on the second one is thrown off momentum just a little. You don't quite get as good a massive swing into it, but you do cleave off a lot of its appendages. It seems to have multiple, and it wails a little. A strange, compared to the vine creature at least, thin, whistling wail. You have not killed it, but it is very badly wounded. Roman.
I look at this man with the goat horns, and I speak to him and I say, "The dark will not protect you." And I cast my guiding bolt on him, summoning again the holy light. And I shall roll an inspired roll here. I get 15.
Roll damage.
13.
Your cascade of holy bolts ram into this individual, searing his skin, staggering him back. He howls in pain, but also defiance. He is still standing, covered in burns, livid with anger.
So then the spiritual weapon attacks the man with the horns. First he gets this holy light, and then comes the mace. However, it does not go so well. 10.
No, he manages to duck out of the way. He saw your mace coming, flying across the corridor towards him, and he sidesteps as it smashes into the side of the room that he's in, spilling the contents of some wardrobe full of inks. They splatter all over the place. Some of them get on him. He snarls in anger at the pair of you. He mutters something. This you understand. You will pay, and the land will consume your souls, priest. And he brings his hands together and smashes them forward, the staff reverberating as it does so. A thunder wave spills forth from him. You must both make me Constitution saves.
And I rolled 20 there, so that's fine, I think.
I, however, only roll 8.
Roman, you take 7 damage as this thunderous force fills the corridor, shooting down before you. You're also thrown off your feet briefly, shocked back at least 10 feet from this opponent. Roshek, you hold your ground, shield firm against this sudden wave of force. 4 damage singes you as you feel the electricity of this thunder wave, but you hold your ground. You are not shocked back by the force of this attack. Sadly, both Adrian and the ravens forming behind him are temporarily shocked back as well. The needle blight takes this moment to strike at you, Roshek, and its needles do pierce past your guard, causing you to take 6 damage.
Grantily, so...
It is your turn.
And, shifting my attention quickly between the two, I think it's better to finish off this needle blight that I'm now about to kill. So I do that. I attack it. I roll 12.
You dive forward towards this creature, raising your long sword to dive down upon it. Roll damage.
9.
And you finish it off, cleaving once, twice through its wood-like body and leaving it splinters on the floor. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, I think it is.
Very well, Roman. You right yourself. You've been temporarily shocked at this sudden force that forced you back, but you're back on your feet, although now, unfortunately, you are a bit more distance away. By at least another 10 feet you travelled. What do you do?
I stand up, and I look at him, and I smile, and put my head to the side, and I say, "No, not like that. Not like that at all." I cast Guiding Bolt again, this time getting 18.
Roll damage.
11.
Your bolts once again cascade into this individual, setting him almost alight for a moment with holy energies. He wails and starts to fall to a knee, but that staff, he clutches it tight, fueling its energies as they cascade over him. He emerges again. Now roll to attack with your bonus action.
21. And the damage is 5.
Your holy bolts fly true, smashing into this foe, sizzling away at him with radiant energies. He goes to one knee. The staff in his hand sizzles with dark energy as he attempts to rise, hurling a final, "Your soul will find no rest." And as he tries to complete the sentence, your mace smashes his face in, teeth flying, blood splattering the walls. And he is silent. He falls to the ground. The staff moves from his hand, glowing with this dark, writhing energy. You take a moment to all catch your breath, and you hear from down below a cry of alarm. "Quickly!" They are breaking down the barricades. What do you do? Combat is over.
I rush towards the staff.
You rush towards the staff. You see it on the ground below you, pulsating, dark, corrupt.
I attempt to smash it, to destroy it, to break it.
Roll me a strength check.
20.
You tell me how your righteous fury destroys this item.
I see the staff lying there on the ground, the dark energies pulsating from it, and in unison my physical mace and the spiritual one smash down to crush it And I gather that that's exactly what happens. Yes?
Indeed, your weapon comes down true upon this unholy relic or item you don't care to know, and a cascade of dark energy surrounds you briefly. An ear-piercing screech fills the air, the sound almost of a dying bird, or maybe something more unnatural. It hurts. You have to clasp your ears for a moment, you as well, Roshik, as this sound reverberates through the entire area. Outside, the windows even crack a little. For a moment, Roman, you see something. It's only for a moment, a flash, an energy, dark, foreboding. A tree, somewhere, a tree of whatever this thing is, pulsating, powerful. You hear a voice. Spread, feed, blood. But then, a wail, as if a strike at whatever this thing is, and the image is gone. Very quickly. And you notice silence. Complete silence. As you look behind you, you see Adrian looking to the door. I think you've done something, friend. Are you all right, Gaston? Gaston calls. Yes! They've stopped. All of them have stopped. What do you guys do?
I stand there and my first reflex was that this druid or whatever he was, that he would be the one leading them, that everything would cease once he was down. So at first I had just stood there and I started to listen very carefully towards sound outside, and then, completely overwhelmed as I'd sharpened my ears by this huge screech that came out from destroying the staff. So I'm just a bit, I rub my ears a bit. Well, that seems to have done it.
Thank you, Morning Lord, I whisper, and I get down on my knees and I start praying.
I move towards one of the windows to look outside.
And outside you see the rain has ceased. It is afternoon. It is still gloomy. It is always gloomy here in Barovia. You get a good view of the surrounding area and the vineyards, and you just see a couple of collections of old twigs and dry bits of wood, slowly already being scattered by the breeze.
And I nod to myself, seeing this. Bring up a small handkerchief and wipe the blood off my blade and put it back in its sheath.
Indeed you do, and you hear some commotion from downstairs, but it doesn't sound like the commotion of violence. It sounds like the sounds of cheering and victory.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the campaign Curse of Strahd for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Curse of Strahd was designed by Christopher Perkins and based on the adventure Ravenloft, written by Tracy and Laura Hickman in 1983. Dungeons & Dragons is published by Wizards of the Coast. The music is created by Metatron Omega, Flowers for Body Snatchers, and Word Clock, and is used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Visit cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for more tasty dark ambient. A new episode of Red Moon Roleplaying is released every Friday. Please like our Facebook page and give us feedback, comments, and input there. You can also visit us at redmoonroleplaying.com. Finally, a huge thank you to our growing base of supporters. You are truly amazing and inspire us so much to keep going with the show. If you haven't yet found us on Patreon, please have a look at the links in the description and see if you want to show your appreciation and encourage our work with the show there. While the show will always be free of charge to our listeners, Patreon supporters have access to extra material such as our bonus Q&A podcast Ask for the Moon, where we discuss all topics and questions our Patreons have for us.
You can even get access to the full-length, raw and unedited versions of our gaming sessions way before they are released as finished episodes. Thank you for listening. Looking forward to meeting again next week.